Hi everybody, this is the Baseball HUD, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, HUD, and welcome back to another visit to the insane asylum known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the funny fun.
Now, welcome back to the Baseball HUD 3, and hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. We have maybe some possible drama at the Nervous Hospital known as WFAN. I'm going to get into it. I've not read this article, but I know there's been some kerfluffle with some of the hosts. One of the lesser gravitas, if that's a word, hosts, Sean the Spud Marash, put out a report. All of a sudden, he's like a big shot, I guess. I don't know. And it got refuted by the big cheese, the icon, emphasis on the con, Craig Carton. Some awful announcing. Craig Carton refutes WFAN hosts bombshell Jets report scandal based on lies. We don't need to invent things that didn't take place to make the Jets look worse. Uh-oh. Always with the Jets. After WFAN host Sean Marash, don't eat any chicken cutlets there, Spud, reported several items that made the New York Jets seem like more of a bumbling circus than they already are. Craig Carton claimed there's no truth to it, any of it. We haven't even reached Super Bowl yet, and the Jets are already having a strange offseason. Jets look to be in a total tank mode. Head coach Aaron Glenn is already on the hot seat after just one season, and he's struggling to fill out his coaching staff. Reports coming out of the Jets building have now led to a source off between two people who aren't even beat reporters or insiders. They're WFAN hosts. Tuesday morning on WFAN's midday show, the Spud reported, that's Sean Marash, Jets owner Woody Johnson is meddling again and has stripped Glenn of all control. According to Marash, Glenn was nearing a deal with Wink Martindale to be his next defensive coordinator when Johnson decided his head coach has to call the plays. Okay. Quote, he flew down to Florida to meet with Woody Johnson to get him to sign on the dotted line on how much he needed to pay Wink Martindale. Woody Johnson looked Aaron Glenn dead in the eyes and said, I'm paying you $12 million. You're coaching the defense. We're not hiring a defensive coordinator when that is your background. End quote. Oh, boy. Marash told Evan Roberts and Tiki Barber. Now, I would mention, Aaron Glenn was an excellent player when he played with the Jets, an excellent defensive player, and he was a good, I guess, coordinator. Now, the one thing about the Jets is they don't bring in anybody that's any good to coach the team. I mean, they always bring in guys that have no experience. And if they do have experience, it's like Adam Gaze. You know, it's bad experience. They never hire anybody that has any good experience. I mean, it's the craziest thing. They can never keep the guys. Then you got Bill Belichick. He got hired, he quit. Right as the day they were going to hire him. I think you had Charlie Weiss there. Charlie Weiss there for a while, for a year. And a whole bunch of other guys. Quote, Aaron Glenn had to turn around and fly back up to tell Wink Martindale, sorry, Wink, it's not happening. I got to call the defense, and it's Woody Johnson's fault. So it was not an Aaron Glenn, Wink Martindale rift. Woody Johnson would not allow Aaron Glenn to hire Wink Martindale to call the plays. Now, what's interesting is that Aaron Glenn has this sort of getting a reputation of inconveniencing people, and I could see that that Woody Johnson made him go all the way down to Florida, and then basically told him, "You're not hiring him," just to get back at him, because we know that Aaron Glenn didn't want Aaron Rodgers, so instead of like telling Rodgers over the phone, "We don't want you here," he made him come all the way across the country to meet, and told him we're not going to play for the Jets. And a phone call would have sufficed. Anyway, So I think that's kind of why, if it's true, that's probably why he did that. Tuesday afternoon, Craig Carton went on his own WFAN radio show and told co-host Chris McMonagle, a.k.a. the Secretary, that everything Marash said a few hours earlier was false. I mean, that's interesting. But it makes sense in the that he would make him go all the way down there. Quote, because of an erroneous report on this radio station, all of a sudden the New York Jets are in the firing squad again, Carton said. I want to be fair to the Spud. I believe that Sean Marash got a phone call or somebody told him what he reported today. This is not a shot at a colleague. Oh, no. I believe he got information. He went with the information he got, although an unvetted source, perhaps. I didn't talk to the Jets, perhaps, but there's some fundamental problems with the story out today that, again, are trying to make my Jets look like a more incompetent, more laughable clown show. And I wonder, did the Spud get a second source? Because we know the media are lazy. We know that. They make stuff up. We know that too. And this station has had this reputation with quite a few people of making things up. Quote, Woody Johnson has been 100% hands-off this offseason, Carton insisted. He has not meddled in what Aaron Glenn wants to do with his coaching staff. He has not met face-to-face where Aaron Glenn had told him, I don't care who you want to hire. You're not allowed to hire that guy because I'm paying you too much money already. So the first factual mistake is that Woody Johnson has meddled in Aaron Glenn's decisions with his coaching staff this offseason. Okay. So he basically refuted the whole thing. In addition to claiming Johnson has been meddling with the coaching staff this offseason, Marash also reported General Manager Darren McGee has told enough people the Jets are a bad team to work for that it became a talking point amongst NFL people at the Senior Bowl. Oh boy. That is not good. When you had the general manager going around and saying crazy stuff. Mogi is warning people this is not the place you want to work, and Woody Johnson is not the boss you want to have, Marash said. Oh boy. Much like he refuted the idea Johnson has meddled this offseason, Carton similarly refuted Marash's report that the Jets' second-year general manager has been going around bad-mouthing the owner and his franchise. Yeah, I don't believe that. Quote, take all opinions of the Jets out of this. Does that make any common sense to you? Carton asked. That's a second-year GM is going to go to a variety of people in the NFL and tell them, how much he hates his job and how the owner's a clown. Yeah, I don't believe that. Quote, we don't need to invent things that didn't take place to make the Jets look worse. If we're going to put them on blast, let's do it with some accuracy and some facts, Carton said, before referring to Marash's report as a scandal based on lies. Oh, boy. None of it makes sense. Young general manager seemingly has had enough job security to stockpile first-round draft picks during his rookie season. Bad-mouthing the owner's organization seems like a terrible way of attempting to build a career as an NFL executive, and this would get around. So if this doesn't work out, how's he going to get another job? What's going on with the Jets coaching staff also doesn't make sense. And it's very hard to believe Woody Johnson has just sat on the sidelines through all of it, especially after reports say that they reached out to John Gruden about the offensive coordinator position. That smells like a Woody phone call. Why would a second-year head coach on the hot seat want to bring in an offensive coordinator who the fan base will be begging to see take his job from day one? Similarly, why would Glenn go down the path of trying to hire Wink Martindale only to decide he wants to be the defensive play caller in his second season as head coach? Did Woody Johnson meddle with John Gruden and Wink Martindale? We don't know. But we know Woody Johnson meddles, and we saw prominent examples of it as recently as 2 seasons ago. This is an owner who reportedly wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers for Tyrod Taylor when the Jets were just 2-2 during the 24 season. There's also an owner who fired Robert Saleh just 5 games into their first real look at the Aaron Rodgers experiment in New York. He has a history of meddling. It's why Jets fans were hoping he would land another position in the Trump administration just to get him out of the building for a few years. And it's why everyone will have a very hard time believing this is the year Johnson just decided to give up meddling. Now, I would mention that the writer tells you exactly why he's taken a side. Okay, it's one thing to talk about the back and forth, the back and forth. But the writer at the end, his name is Brendan Contis. He tells you at the end that he's taking the side of Marash. He's not taking the side of Carton. Instead of just telling it, he didn't need to write the last part of this, about the Trump administration. So he hates Woody Johnson because he worked for President Trump. These people, they're so transparent, they're so easy to figure out why this particular person. Then you want to talk about this as an interesting story, but then they bring up the president, and then he basically tells you he's taking a side. He's against Woody Johnson. I would mention, it's his business. Whatever Woody Johnson wants to do with his business, it's his business. You know what I mean? It's not your business, it's his business. And if he does a lousy job with it, he's going to lose money. Does a lousy job with it, they're not going to win. And they haven't won in a long time. But then to say he's meddling, he's the boss. He's ultimately the boss. And these guys have not done any kind of job where he doesn't have to meddle. If he's seen that things are being done poorly, then he has to, kick ass and do whatever he has to do. But then again, like I said, I don't know what the story is. It doesn't matter. Craig Carton saying one thing, and then somebody that's kind of new saying something else. So, who knows? But this is the kind of stuff you get when you're dealing with the patients at the Nerves Hospital, known as WFAN.
They're coming to take me away, ha ha. They're coming to take me away, ho ho, hee hee, ha ha. To the funny fun.